The suction line is frozen because the evaporator is frozen. The unit has not been serviced in many years, and the condenser is completely covered. All the way around. The condenser is covered, and it cannot cool because it cannot circulate any air to cool down the compressor. The unit has to be disassembled and washed out for it to cool down. The indoor blower motor has to be replaced, and the indoor coil has to be cleaned out. Outdoor coil needs to be disassembled and clean. Inside coil needs to be disassembled and clean. Indoor blower motor needs to be replaced. The evaporator coil is frozen solid. The condenser coil outside is completely plugged. It hasn't been serviced in years. Indoor unit, the coil is frozen solid, but it also has not been serviced in years. There's a lot of debris on the inside of the coil. The indoor blower motor is breaking down, and as it's running, it stops. When the blower motor stops, the evaporator coil freezes over. When the evaporator coil freezes over, water begins to overflow and fills the closet space. So the blower motor has failed. It's trying to spin, but it cannot spin anymore. So because the blower motor cannot spin, the coil freezes over, the tenant loses airflow, the AC freezes over. The indoor blower motor needs to be replaced. The inside of the coil needs to be disassembled and cleaned out, all the debris removed. The unit outside needs to be disassembled and cleaned. Once these things are done, the tenant will have cooling and heating again. The inside right here, there's two screws right here. Down inside here, there's one screw, and then this screw. By removing those two screws, it releases the blower. Hey guys, we're replacing the indoor blower motor today. We had a ECM motor, electronically commutative motor. It didn't know which direction to spin anymore. Effectively, the motor still works, but it has a computer board inside, and it works kind of like a DC motor. It's able to change its speed by controlling the hertz frequency. So full speed is 60 hertz. It goes down to 40, 30, 20 hertz, and that's how it controls the speed. It didn't know what speed to run anymore. So Carrier was able to provide us with a warranty motor. The warranty motor is not exactly the same. It comes with an external plug instead of the internal plug. It's a half horsepower 200 volt motor. Here's the new motor. And this is the direct replacement for the original. Okay guys, so first things first is once removing all the accessories, the first thing you want to put back is the belly band. The belly band, you don't want to open it all the way. It makes installation of the control arms a little difficult. So you have it just a little snug, so you just slide it down. Once it slides down, you can go ahead and start putting the arms in place. You're gonna have to snug it open just a little bit more.
I'll cut this out.
As you're tightening it down, you want to make sure that it stays within the grooves as you're tightening it to make sure the motor stays aligned. Once you feel confident that's in alignment, you could go ahead and secure it down permanently. Okay, so once your motor's in, you can go ahead and line up your blower wheel. Make sure it's nice and centered. Remember, the location of your plug is going to be facing the front of the unit. So we're going to slide our motor in this way. Cut it. Okay, now you don't want to use power tools because if you over tighten these, you can strip it, and then when you strip it, the bolt will no longer make a solid hold on there. It's all nice and tight. You put it up, and you have to align your blower wheel. As you can see, because of the installation, it's not actually centered. So what you want to do is you can come over here and you can grab that wheel by the shaft hub and then slide it in and out to where it's aligned. See? And if you guys look closely now, on this side we have this gap. Here we have this gap. The gap is perfectly aligned, so when it starts spinning there won't be any rubbing. Now once you have the wheel centered, you come here. Remember, your motor shaft is going to have that flat spot. You want that lock nut to be on the flat spot. So once you got that in place, use your wrench to hold the shaft. And then you can go ahead and tighten it down. And on this, you really want a wrench on it. Get it really in there and get a good bite. Because this thing's going to be spinning so fast, you don't want that lock nut to come loose on the shaft and destroy your shaft. I've seen lock nuts go loose, and what they do is the motor will continue spinning, but since the motor spins so fast, the lock nut will just chew up the shaft, and then you have to replace the wheel, and it's a mess. Don't do it. Now this motor's ready to go in. All right. Good. So it really needs to be cleaned out, guys. So this is very impressive. Very, very impressive. A little shocking, but yet impressive nonetheless. So this is what was restricting my evaporator coil. When you have this much buildup on the evaporator coil, the RPM of the motor goes up because it doesn't have the air volume that it needs. When you have less air volume, the RPM of the motor goes up. When the RPM of the motor goes up, the bearings spin faster than what they're designed to, and that's when you start getting wear and tear and a short life on the motor. This is only half. Okay, so we're about halfway done. It's starting to look a lot better. There's still some areas I gotta get to. But it's a whole lot better. Alright, I'll get back to you guys when it's all done. Alright guys, I think we definitely got it beat. So, again, access is limited, but we got 99% of this thing cleaned out. I'm gonna get that bit last right now, and we're practically done. Now I'm just gonna get some nitrogen or CO2 and just go blow it clean and clean up the mess, and we're done with the inside. Okay, so now we have the coil cleaned out. It's reassembled. We're ready to put the motor back in. So if you look closely, we have these that will line up with these up here. See these guys right here? So the ledge of that motor is going to go in there just like so. So watch out closely, guys. There it is. And then she just slides right in. It's holding herself up. Okay. So now we just do the reverse of everything, put the brackets back, and then I'll see you again when we plug in that motor and start it up. Okay, so because this is a direct replacement motor, putting it all back together is relatively simple. This plug, you see how it has a dead space? We have a dead space up here on the top, so it's easy to say that this goes here. It plugs in nicely. And according to the tonnage of the motor, the blue wire went to number 2. The white wire went to number 4. And the ground will be strapped right here. Okay, so let's do that real quick. Always keep your drill at the lowest torque setting. Everybody hates it when your screws are stripped. Repair is complete. Let's put the panel back on and let's wash out the condensing unit now. Don't you hate it when that happens? I saw it when it fell. There it is. Alright, now we can turn this back on. Sometimes we don't get to choose where to go, but we can choose to make them better, you know? Customers can easily do this on their own at home. You know, once a year, you guys just grab your water hose
You can shut down your machine if you want. You don't have to shut it down. It's meant to run outside, you know. But it has to be washed out. See right here? That's your disconnect. All you got to do is pull the plug on that and it shuts down. And if you can't find your disconnect, just wash it out anyway. It's meant to get rained on, so it's okay if it gets wet. It's not really that big of a deal. Unless you have a 40-year-old machine and all the wires are exposed, I wouldn't recommend you touch that at all. Some AC units have what's called a hail guard. See this right here? This is a hail guard. Some units, the hail guard is very restrictive and you have to remove it to wash your coil. So Goodman actually did a good job and they created these louvers that are pretty big, which allows me to just wash it out without having to remove it. Very nice. He was a good man, Goodman. I wonder if Mr. Goodman wore overalls like Dave Lennox did. I wonder where Dave Lennox lived. I wonder. So we just turned it on and we have 56-degree air, guys. Now keep in mind, inside the house is about 80 degrees right now. So as the temperature of the house goes down, if we're trying to get to 75, you can expect this thing to be blowing about 50-degree air in about half an hour. So we are right on the money.